Jeanette Swick. I am a dietetic intern here at Crossing Healthcare. I'm finishing up my degree from Eastern Illinois University studying dietetics and nutrition. So this is like the last part of my degree before I can move on. So today we'll be talking about added sugars, how they differ from natural sugars, where you can find them, and tips to lowering them. So let's start off by showing the recommended amounts. So women are recommended to get 24 grams of added sugar. That is only 6 teaspoons a day. So that's for women. Men are allowed a little bit more.
That's BS.
Which is, yes, we agree.
I'm sorry.
They can have 36 grams, which is 9 teaspoons of added sugar a day. The average American gets closer to 17 grams a day. So here is your kind of comparison of the different amounts of sugar. So a lot of people think that just cutting back on sweets will lower your sugar intake, and the added sugars are actually found in a lot more than just desserts. Mainly drinks, low-fat foods, processed foods, and condiments are where you're going to find a lot of added sugar that you maybe didn't know about. So the difference between the natural sugar and the added sugar. Natural sugar can be found in fruits, veggies, some dairy products. Natural sugar contains vitamins and minerals also. So you're not just empty calories, you're actually getting some nutrients, minerals, vitamins, some fiber, so they're actually good for you to have. Added sugars are just an empty calorie. They do nothing for your body. They're in, they're out, they're just gonna gain fat. So they're not necessarily something that you need or want. So when looking for the different sugars, nutrition facts label, you can see it'll be under the carbohydrates, it'll say total sugars, which is like on this one, 12 grams. Added sugars is 10 grams. So you can see the difference there. They just switched this in 2017 to actually show the added sugar, which is super helpful because sometimes you get like something with fruit and you're like, well, what's the difference? Or you have to know the labels. So this makes it a lot easier to see. You can go through, you can see how many grams, figure out what it is, and know like, I can have this much a day, this is what's in this product. You would be surprised if you look at different nutrition labels, how much added sugar is in the most random things that you eat. So, there is over 61 different names for sugar that can be on a nutrition label. This is an example. I'll put it up here for the end if you want to look at it. This is some of the different names for sugars that you can find. I put on your handout some of them. Any kind of syrup, anything that says syrup, it's going to be a sugar. Molasses, fruit juice concentrate, that's not fruit, that's concentrate, that's sugar. Honey, anything that ends in OSE, so you're going to have your fructose, your sucrose, dextrose, glucose, any of that is going to be sugar. So it's a lot more, it's harder to find it than what you would think if you don't have that nutrition label, but thankfully they started putting that on there, so it makes it a little bit easier. So with your added sugar, I started looking around. I'm more of a visual person, so I'm more of if I see it, I'll remember it. If I actually like get it, a picture of it. So I started looking. My husband drinks a lot of Mountain Dew a day. 1 can of Mountain Dew is 1 serving. 1 can of Mountain Dew is going to have 46 grams of sugar. Might I remind you, we're allowed 24 for this room. So that's your sugar in 1 can of Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew is an obvious one. I feel like everybody knows it's got a lot in it. Mug root beer was another one that I was like, oh, root beer. I thought of root beer as being like maybe a better option of soda. Root beer has 71 grams of added sugar in it. 71 grams, that's 18 teaspoons in this one bottle of root beer. So another one that is, another thing to look for is their serving size. So a lot of condiments are going to have added sugar in them. Sweet Baby Ray's, everybody's had it, everybody likes it. I'm sure nobody uses 2 tablespoons, which is, this 2 tablespoons is equal to 1 serving. 1 serving of Sweet Baby Ray's has 16 added sugars. So, let's see, that is going to be 4 teaspoons of sugar, 16 grams, just in this much. So imagine how much you usually use on your food and times your sugar by this. So that's where you're getting your sugars. Another one is ketchup. People don't necessarily think of ketchup being sweet. Ketchup is funny too. You have to watch your labels and watch how much their serving size is compared to what you're doing. So ketchup, this ketchup individually, 1 tablespoon is a serving. So they've tricked you there. So that's half of one of these. So half of one of these is that much sugar. And we all know when you use ketchup, you're not using half of one of those. So when you're putting ketchup on hot dogs, cheeseburgers, dipping your fries, this is what you're dipping it in, is sugar. So another one, last night my son asked for a snack and I was on a sugar kick because I've just been reading labels lately now. So he wanted a snack, so we grabbed Mott's fruit snacks, thinking, oh, that's a good one. That's one that, how many people give their kids Mott's fruit snacks? I mean, that's a common, and they claim, like, they say fruit, they say this on it. You think, oh, it's the better option. Mott's fruit snacks have 9 grams of sugar in one of these pouches. That's 2.25 teaspoons. A child over the age of 2 is recommended no more than the same as a woman. So 9 grams. But you're putting that much just in a fruit snack that they are getting, I mean, they're not getting full off of that. You're giving them a snack just because they think they need to eat, but they're not getting anything out of a fruit snack. So just something to think about. A Starburst, you think, oh, just a simple Starburst. 1 Starburst is equal to 1 sugar cube, which is pretty interesting to me. So 1 Starbucks. Starbucks is a whole nother one that we are not going to get into. So I'm not ready to give that one up yet. But 1 Starburst is 1 sugar cube, 4 grams of sugar, just in one of these. So just imagine, like, start looking at labels, start looking at different candies, you would be surprised. Different condiments, added sugar is everywhere. So once you start cutting back your added sugar, you'll notice you'll lose weight. It's empty calories. So all of those are empty calories that you're eating too. So you're not getting any benefits from it. You're just gaining weight. Believe it or not, you'll have more energy when you start cutting back of this empty sugar. It gives you maybe a boost of energy and then you crash. You're done. So the natural energy, you're going to get better energy out of fruits, vegetables, you know, your healthier carbs than you are your just straight sugar. Your teeth, imagine that's all going through your teeth. So if you have cavities, if you have that, it's from your condiments and your drinks. Headaches, sugars can cause headaches. People don't realize that. Sometimes they get a headache and they're like, oh, my sugar's low, I need more sugar. That's not the case. So not at all. So some tips to lowering your sugar. Watch your condiments, read your labels, check everything. Start using, instead of condiments, use herbs and seasonings instead. So instead of covering your barbecue, you know, use a seasoning. So you're going to get just as much flavor. A lot of seasonings can be really good. It's just trial and error. Just try doing that instead. Watch your cereals. Cereals contain a lot of your breakfast foods, your cereals, your oatmeals. You're going to have a lot of added sugar in those. I found it was hard to find a cereal that didn't have added sugar at all. Aldi's, don't mind the box, it was raining yesterday. Aldi's had these toasted oats. I don't know if you've ever had them. They're a little bit bland, but it's something that you get used to. I mean, I prefer these now. I'll mix them maybe with some like peanuts and some raisins, and then you're getting natural, and then it's a little bit sweeter. And these have 0 added sugar to them. So these are a good option for a cereal. Soda and drinks are another one. Watch your drinks. Your drinks are where most people consume sweet tea, coffee with cream and sugar, all of that in it. Your sodas, your smoothies, if you buy them, and if you make your own smoothie, you can tell what goes into it. If you buy a smoothie, chances are they're making it to where it tastes good because they want you to buy it again. So they're not necessarily, they might advertise healthy and it might have all those fruits and vegetables in it, but it also has sugar in it to make you want theirs as opposed to the one that you make at home. So just watch for your added sugars in your smoothies. A good thing that we do is the flavored water that we had for you to try. I gave you a handout that shows different ways to infuse water. Here are some different ideas that you might not think of. I always at home just like whatever's in the fridge, fruit-wise, throw it in the water and go. This gave some good ideas. I had actually not done the cucumber until about a year ago, and I was like, that's so weird to me. I try it now, and like in the summer, that's my favorite. So mint is another one that I'm like, mint and water? Mint is super good. Basil, rosemary, different ways just to spice it up. One of them has jalapeno, mint and cucumber. So it doesn't always have to be sweet. It doesn't always have to be fruit. So just these are some good ideas to try. Anything out of the cabinet, try that instead of soda. If you're still craving that carbonation, I'll get to where I'm like, I just want some Fizz. Like you just want Fizz. A good alternative that I found was Fresca. It has aspartame in it, which some people avoid that, but it is no sugar, no added sugar. So no calories in it, just a little Fizz, not an everyday thing, but if you're craving something, that's a better option as opposed to this has no sugar, this has that sugar. So maybe a better option, and always check your serving size. So say you're going somewhere, you're going to a birthday party, you're going to a wedding, you want a piece of the cake. Everybody does. Watch your serving size. Know the serving size. I found out last night, so brownies, common for everybody. How many servings do you think are in a box of brownies? When you make a pan of brownies, how many does that serve? Anybody have any ideas?
12.
There's 15 servings. So in each package of brownies, when you make a thing of brownies, you should cut that into 15 sections. Each one of those 15 sections has 16 grams of added sugar. So you're taking a brownie, you're cutting it into 15 pieces, and that tiny little piece that you're going to get is going to be equivalent to 16 grams of sugar. So know your serving sizes. Know what you're getting yourself into. Is it worth it? Is it? I mean, it's okay to indulge. Get the piece, but get the serving. You know, I'll make brownies before, and you know, there's 6 people in my family. We cut it into 6 pieces, and we all cover it in ice cream and go. So maybe that will not be my option anymore after reading the label. And it just took reading the label and thinking to myself, wow, is that really what I need to be eating or what I want to be eating anymore? Because once you know about it, once you hear about it, it's like, okay, there's better options. So, I mean, this isn't even something that I would prefer to purchase anymore just because out of sight, out of mind, I don't need it. So just some little things to think about and lowering your sugar. We put together a sauce. It is an Asian plum sauce. It is made with, I gave you your recipe on there. It's actually made with plums. And it has a lot of natural ingredients that you could probably find in your cabinets. Vinegar, garlic, soy sauce, onions. It did have anise star. I'm not sure how much that would change it if you didn't have it. I don't think it would be a big deal. But ginger is something that scares a lot of people, but it's actually something with a lot of flavor. Ginger root is great for adding sauces. You can flavor your water with it, it's really good. You can flavor your tea with it. Instead of doing a sweet tea, do a ginger tea. You buy it like this as the root, and we take it like a normal potato peeler, peel it to where it's like this. And then I always use the potato peeler to, and then again, get real thin strips and then dice it, because you definitely don't want to just bite into a chunk of ginger. You want it to be, the smaller the better. But the recipe I gave you, you just literally, all of this in the saucepan, we simmered it for about 15-20 minutes, stirring it, simmered it, and then we used an emulsion blender and blended it all together, and now we have a homemade sauce that has way less sugar than what you'll find in store-bought processed sauces. And I have it for you to sample. I think you'll enjoy trying it. Maybe it's something you can use it for grilling. You can use it for dipping chicken, dipping French fries, anything like that. So.
Is this something that you'll put in the fridge then when you're done?
Yeah, so you can save this. So you make it, you can put it in the fridge. It'll last like another sauce, like depending on how you can it, how you put it in there. Good question, but yeah, it'll if you can it, it's a cannable. I have never canned before, so
like if you put it in an empty ketchup jar and mark it or label it,
yes,
it'd be good for
I
a
wouldn't.
couple months.
7 days.
I wouldn't do more than a week. Yeah.
Really?
No sauce is good, like homemade, unless you can it for like more than 7 days.
Really?
I would say. I mean, same with your water, flavoring water. It's good 3 to 4 days if you keep it in the fridge, keep it cold. I would, after like 24 hours max, no longer than that, take the fruit out of it. It's already got the flavor in it. The fruit's just gonna break down, make it bitter. And then like 1 to 2 hours on room temperature is probably the max. Like I would leave it out before you added ice to it or kept it cold. And then if it's in your like water bottle or something, like 4 hours with your ice, and then change out the fruit. At least take the fruit out of it. The water's still fine, but the fruit will get bitter, and then you're gonna be like, oh, I don't want to do that again. That wasn't good when just sitting. So that's another part of it.
Is it true, like the sugar that's in your recipe that you made there, is our bodies break that down differently than like the added sugars that you're reading in the ingredients list and things like that? Like natural sugar versus processed foods type sugar, is that a real thing?
That's a good question. Do you guys have an answer for that one? I know that natural sugars definitely break down in your body. Like your body takes in natural sugars and uses everything out of them. You'll get the vitamins, minerals, everything out of them.
Right.
These sugars are in and out. They're not, or they're just stored as fat.
Okay.
Sugars from drinks,
Yeah.
large quantities of sugars are oftentimes processed through the liver and stored as fat.
Okay.
If you lower your sugar content and have it from a natural source, your body actually sees it differently, so it's going to use it differently. It's not going to peak your blood sugar, so that is different
Okay.
with that rush of sugar
Right.
that comes in. The liver isn't affected as much, and so
Okay.
you're going to be a lot more healthier for the long run by choosing these options for sure.
Okay. That's what I was looking
Thank you. Any other questions?
Wouldn't honey be considered a natural one?
No, honey is actually an added sugar because, so if you're adding it to something, it doesn't, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but honey is actually an added sugar with no nutrition benefits.
It's very similar in regular sugar.
Yeah, it's more similar to regular sugar than the sugars that are found in fruits and veggies. It doesn't have things in them that you're going to want.
for. Oh, shoot.
I thought honey was good for you.
I know, I did too.
I put my protein
Are you
shake
talking
on
about
every
like when you
day.
harvest, like when you harvest the honey instead of buying it at the store?
Yeah. The sugar is the same.
Okay.
You know, it equals the same.
So it still has all
And
those
it's from
calories.
a more natural source, obviously, than a processed source for the honey. So I think that's what Jeanette's getting at, is
But-
looking at added sugars
Sure.
into your foods versus naturally found.
Yes, so honey is still going to have this factor in it. So it might be like a different option than the actual grains of sugar, but it's still going to have the option of it is just an empty calorie, that it's just the same as this. So it's still going to get your calories are still going to be the same. It's not necessarily a lower calorie option. It might be like a healthier version, but it's not in a beneficial way of.
Yeah, I think that
Right,
makes sense.
yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
Thank you for coming today. I hope you guys learned a few tips in lowering your added sugar intake. We hope to see you again. The next Lunch and Learn is going to be in July, and Monica will be talking to you about snacking, so different snack options. So we hope to see you there. Thank you for coming.